Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of our backcountry tour of Idaho. Sorry it's been a while. I have been on spring break with the family, so happy to be back. I had a great time down in Florida, hit the beaches, and it was quite nice, but happy to say back in our northern Michigan broadcast studios where I got snowed on. Heading back to the backcountry of Idaho here, and if you recall on our last stop, number 27, we were at Whitewater Ranch here. So today we're going to launch off of our downhill slope here, pop over the main fork of the Salmon River, and let's take a look. We're actually heading back. We're going to have to fly this way a little bit to gain some altitude. This is quite an elevation gain here, so let's go 3D a second and kind of show you that. We're actually going up on top of these mountains, and we'll be heading off here to Dixie, A05 Dixie. Today I'm adding Dixie Town as a bonus 28.5 stop. It wasn't on our original itinerary, but I actually think it's the more interesting of the two. So what we'll do is we'll come out here, fly up here, and maybe we can come around that bend and try climbing up here. I don't know if we'll have enough altitude by the time we come around this bend to go up this draw here, but I'm hoping that we do. And we'll land there, and what we might do is come in here, and we'll see here. We'll come in around here, and this is actually down a little bit of a bowl. It doesn't look like it so much here, but if we get down here, you can kind of see the terrain. If I can flatten this out at all. That's not the best, but you can kind of see it's kind of protected to get in here. So what I've been doing is trying to come around here, cut down through this draw, and then come back around and land this way. That's really the best way in, I think, from where we're coming. And then we land uphill. We then take back off downhill, and what I would do is probably just climb out, circle around a bit, and then come back over the field. And we're going to follow. We're going to, once we're into Dixie, we're going to take off or come back over the field and then follow this road off to the right here around that, kind of hill here. And we'll have to do a little bit of zigzagging. But if we follow Crooked Creek and that road through here, we will come out, and one of the landmarks we'll see is this big kind of bald spot up here on this hill, and we'll know we're getting close. Then we're going to come around and make a hard left, and then we'll start to see some evidence that we're getting into Dixie Town. You'll see some cabins, some homes and stuff, and we come through here. And really, it's kind of tricky because right now this is a road basically too that people drive on, so we may run through some cars or stuff like that, I don't know. But at any rate, here is the very small and short runway into Dixie Town. It will be a challenge.
TAWS system test, okay. TAWS system test, okay.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too.
Okay, everybody, and welcome back to stop number 28 and 28.5 in the Idaho Backcountry. We're going to Dixie and Dixie Town today. We're using the Cessna 337 Skymaster. I've got an Air Force livery today, in just sort of honor of my previous Air Force career. So, a great time. If any of you guys are, well, I'm not going to promote the Air Force. I just say that it was really good for me. I really enjoyed the people that I was with and had a lot of good experience. Great group of people. And if that's something you're interested in, that's kind of how I paid for college and did some things like that. Got into flying and had a great experience in the Air Force as a medic. So hope you guys enjoy this trip. Let's get started. And first thing we'll do is I guess we're going to need to close up shop here. So Oh, did I? Let me grab that and close the door and go ahead and get ourselves probably something like that as we're in the backcountry right now. And I'm going to crack the throttle just a little bit here and clear prop. Okay, front engine is started. Let's take a look at that. It's looking good. Okay, and we'll go one more time here. I don't think we need to clear prop. We've already got one running, so there's nobody out here. Alright, we're going to crack the throttle for rear engine. Alright, go ahead. Alright, the rear engine's fired up, alright. Okay guys, pretty easy today. Let's take a look here. We've already kind of scouted out the Google Maps, so we're going to go to A05, which is Dixie, and then A2 is Dixie Town. So taking off this way, climbing up, coming around, going into A05, taking back off and landing at A2. So should be a pretty short trip today, but this is just no easy feat for this 337, the rather large plane, to try to get out of Whitewater and into Dixie Town. So let's just see how we go here. Get every little last inch we need of this airstrip here. Okay, it's good. Everything looks pretty good. We're going to check our flaps to take off. Trim looks good. Mixture is good. RPM full. And you guys, we don't have, like I said, here's what our plan for takeoff is. We're going to get rolling. I'll keep a little light back pressure on the plane, so I lift the nose up a little bit because it's sort of soft field technique. But then as we come over that hill, I'm going to kind of just let off of that a little bit. We're going to start getting a little bit of our dive going. And what we're going to want to do is, you know, there's a hump down there that we need to get over. So as we lift off, we're going to have to really quickly pull the gear up and just make sure we don't clip that ridge. So that's the biggest, most important thing to do right on takeoff here. So we're going to get everything going. I might as well just do a quick run up here. I'll start with just the front engine here. Engine, and feather that one. Our RPM drop. Try it one more time. Let's see over here. RPM dropping down on the right side there. One more time. Definitely not the time when you want to have any lack of faith in your engine. Alright. Okay, so you're watching, and everything looks pretty good right now, so let's go ahead. We're set where we want to on our mixture. RPM is full. We get everything going here. Parking brake is off. And we're pulling light back pressure. Here we're gonna have to kind of be really paying attention. We have really good on the rudders because it's pretty tight right here. And there we go, gear up. Wow, that's it. Climbed out, I'm good enough. I'm gonna start pulling back on the RPM there, get that into the green. And we're good. So now we're looking for that little draw off to the left and see if we can climb out over that. I'm going to want to have us climbing fairly well here. We're leaving 10 degrees of flaps on for a little while. There's our draw over there to the left that we want to see if we can get back and start going that way. So let me watch my airspeed here. I'm climbing at 80 right now. And that is the way we're going. Yeah, I think we can make that. So let's go this way, and that's our way up towards the higher elevations here that we need to get to. There it is, Whitewater Ranch over there. And back down there in the main fork of the salmon. So I'm just going to continue to get a little bit more aggressive on the climb here. I want to get a little more altitude. Whoa-zy. It is a little bit windy up here today. So we are going to just take our time, but we want to make sure we keep the 10 degrees of flaps in, and we're going to climb out kind of more at our... I should be, you know, what I should have done is looked up VX here, because that's actually what the speed that you should be flying right now for this airplane. So VX would give us the greatest angle of climb, which is what we need right now. We don't really care about our ground speed as much as just getting up over the shortest amount of distance we can, which is VX. So that airspeed, I don't know what it is, but I feel like we're doing a pretty good job. We're 10 degrees of flaps, and usually that's slightly slower than VY, which would give you a little bit better, you know, get you up to an altitude faster. But if you've got terrain to contend with, VX is what you're looking for. So anyway, we're looking pretty good here now. I might be able to start rolling to the left, and I'm going to take out flaps now. Yeah, we did pretty good there, so good job, Skymaster. That was a little dicey getting out of Whitewater Ranch, but we did it, and that's great. So what we're going to do now is head directly towards Dixie A05, and maybe we'll get a chance to scout Dixie Town, but even if we don't, we're going to go directly. Our first stop here is just Dixie US Forest Service airstrip. A05. And if you guys want to look here, this is the one we're heading towards right now, and then we'll come back to Dixie Town. Alright, so let's take a look at everything on our engines. Right up at the top there in the RPM. Pull that back just a teeny bit. Look back over the Salmon River Valley there, and that actually will wrap around out in front of us, and as we get to Dixie, we're also heading towards Shep Ranch again, so we're really not that far. This would be a big triangle we're making as we came up there from Shep Ranch to the various different airstrips along the main fork until we got up to Whitewater, so Campbell's Ferry and etc. Those are all off to our left, and Shep Ranch straight ahead of us. Alright, so I think we're good enough on altitude right now. I'm going to start putting the trim forward a bit and get ourselves leveled off. We don't need to be climbing so much anymore, as just getting to where we're getting. Alright, so we're, if I'm looking at things correctly, Dixie Town is off to our, just in front of us and off to the right a bit. And then up over there, Dixie. There's Dixie Town right over there, I think. Just off to the right wing there and down below, that should be Dixie Town down in there. That's where we're going to end up coming back to later. And that's going to be a very challenging strip to get into, I can just tell you this right now. And don't be surprised if there are some cars and things driving on that road. I probably should mess with some settings to make sure there's no cars to kill the realism, but you know, it's just a I could do that right now. Let's try. Hold on a second, you guys. Let's just go in here and go to our general options and go to ground traffic or something like that. Let's see. Ground. Road vehicles. Let's turn that to 0. Now it's blind save and go back. It might help. Anyway. Keep us from running into any vehicles in Dixie Town, because that's like a airport that's also, there it is down there, right below us, Dixie Town. You see, there's not much to work with there. There's a lot of trees. We're a little bit overpopulated with trees, and then right up there, that is Dixie. So, put down the gear. What we're going to do is we're going to announce, so Dixie traffic, November 107 Bravo Romeo. We're going to be landing to the north. We're going to overfly the field, intercept a left downwind for the northbound runway, Dixie. Got our flaps now, and I'm just going to continue to put more flaps in. Setting after that, we do. Okay, so we're not quite full flaps, but getting there. And this is definitely something wrong with how this is modeled. It's almost like it looks paved. I think they're trying to make it gravel, but this one, I got to figure out how to get a patch fix. This should be a lot more rustic looking, this particular one. So I don't know what I got to do differently on that one, but I am running the Google Maps plugin, and I'm not sure if I usually I prefer the Google Maps here in the backcountry, but sometimes the airports themselves look a lot better when they're being, so I might try and experiment with that actually. Maybe I'll make that like a bonus extra credit piece at the end of this, you know, outtakes, if you will, something like that. I don't know. Those of you brave enough to stick around for the entire video, I get to kind of learn something there on that. Let's see here. So, and Dixie Town, or sorry, Dixie traffic, number 107 Bravo Romeo. They're left down. We're turning left base for the northbound runway, Dixie. And we're going to do a little slipping. Going to drop some energy here and some altitude. And Dixie traffic number 107 Bravo Romeo. We are on final for the northbound runway, Dixie. Bit right there, and I held that off probably way more than I needed to, but we were drifting a bit. I should have probably just settled her on and started hammering on the brakes a little more. Anyway, all right, you guys, so welcome to a Dixie US Forest Service airport airstrip. We're going to take off out of this one, and this one, it's not like it's easy. If you guys look around there, there's a lot of, it's like we're in a little bowl, right? And there's not a lot of great ways without just kind of really getting after it. You should be landing uphill to the north most of the time. It does make for some interesting approaches. So, I don't know. We get our flaps back to Alright, we got 10, we got takeoff flap set. And now we're gonna head out to Dixie, which is kind of off to our right here, but we have to turn around and take off. So we're gonna climb out, gain enough altitude to come back over the field, and that is actually not, it's easier said than done here. So and now there is an out to the right there, so if we, before that hill, if we go to the right, that's the way you get out towards Chef Branch. And it does open up a teeny bit there, so that's the way we're going to have to try to go. And I'm just going after like a short field takeoff technique here, so a little light on the nose wheel right now, pulling back just a touch. This way, as I mentioned to you, so we just get a little bit of altitude before we come back over the runway. Turn out. Well, yeah, we're good. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna come back over. You see that little road? That is. That is the way we want to go. So you're coming out of Dixie, you want to go right to that little knob up ahead of us there. And you see that road, that's what we're really wanting to follow into Dixie Town. And you guys, what we're going to do here is we're going to keep ourselves nice and slow. So I'm going to kind of set up early here. I'm going to get my gear. I'm going to get my gear down now. We're just going to actually set up for landing early. We got a little bit of ways to go here, but it's not too far. And I want to make sure that our airspeed is, like, we're really stabilized before, you know, we make that final turn into Dixie Town. It is not much room. And I've done one practice in there and trying to avoid a car, and I did some crazy stuff. I made it, but it wasn't easy, and I'm not sure how many times out of 10, if set up the way that I would have made it. So just want to be a little more cautious now. So let's see, we're coming down 80 knots, and I've got how many degrees of flaps, and oh boy, there's our bald spots on the hill there, right? So head this way now. There's our road. I am right on the verge of. Okay, I've got full flaps in. Full RPM now. This is it. Okay, we're down. So but we made it. I'm pretty excited about that. Now I guess we could just go up here and see what we find. Let's taxi up into Dixie Town a little bit. See if we can see some. I see some building. I don't know where we would want to park, but this looks like a good place to park as any. What's going on with the frames here? It's seeming a little glitchy. Okay. Well, welcome to Dixie Town, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll jump out here a quick second and take a little tour of. Go back here and just pull power to the back engine, and pull power to the front engine as well. And okay, shut things down.